people in the transpersonal world who really are into Ken Wilber's version of it. He wasn't really a clinician, and so it hasn't. Most of the books, I've read a couple of books on integral psychology from that perspective, and it seems so abstract and heady that I don't know, and anybody I've talked to hasn't been able to find it very useful. And so most of the transpersonal community, as far as I've seen, has moved more into like contemporary psychoanalysis, moved into existential humanistic streams of working with people, Gestalt, working somatically, working with trauma. It's been more clinical in bringing spiritual techniques, bringing meditation techniques, bringing mindfulness, bringing heart-opening techniques, bringing energy work into therapy. And so Ken Wilber's stuff has sort of stayed a little in a little eddy somewhere that's become more and more detached from the whole psychotherapeutic stream of transpersonal psychology, at least as I'm familiar with it.
And where is the age of transpersonal psychology and human potential movement now?
I think it's spreading out into the world. It has spread out into the world. I think it's become mainstream in a way. The United States Army has an advertisement to join. It says, "Be all you can be." It's like,
be all
you can be. That's the United States Army talking. It's like the human potential movement has really, it won. I mean, it's everywhere now. So in going everywhere, it's also like, well, then where is it? It's also, it's moved into coaching.
Yeah,
Coaching is really big. And coaches are really good at marketing. I think it's sort of just in the air. It's in Oprah. I think many people just believe that you can be more than who you are now. It's in the zeitgeist. The whole zeitgeist has changed. It's no longer new, particularly. It's kind of accepted, I think.
And what with altered states of consciousness happened?
They helped it along, and they're still helping it along. And maybe that'll become mainstream too, at some point. Maybe that'll become prescribable. You can do psychotherapy with MDMA.
Yeah, I know.
That would be nice.
You are looking forward to that?
I don't know if I would do it these days or not. I think there's real value in it, but I've experimented with a lot of psychedelics, and they've opened up wonderful vistas and realms, but to actually live there, to actually get there, I think it involves a change in this consciousness that I don't think can be bypassed with that. It's good for turning people on to it, and even doing a certain amount of therapy in that place, but I think it also comes back to really changing how I am in the moment, how I am relating to my own deeper being in the world, not altered, but how I alter myself through my own focus and consciousness.
And do you do integral yoga? What is it? Is it a formal exercises or it's just a mindless work?
Integral yoga it's really open to all of the world's traditions. Aurobindo thought the time was past of separate religions, that we needed all of them. They all described a piece of the elephant. And that it was important to be able to experiment with different spiritual practices to see what worked for you. So I think of it as two major streams of practices. One, opening up the Atman and Buddha nature, which are more mindfulness-oriented practices. And the other, opening up the soul, the evolving soul, which tend to be more devotional, heart-opening practices. But these both go together. It's like even mindfulness can only proceed as far as the heart is open. And so in mindfulness traditions, heart-opening practices are preliminary, but they're important. And similarly with the soul path traditions of the personal divine, mindfulness practice can be helpful to bring a certain peace, a certain quietude, and then heart practices for really opening up this inner being and opening up the realms of the soul.
So you're doing two type of practices, mindfulness and
We call it heartfulness.
Huh?
Heartfulness.
What is?
Talk about mindfulness.
Heartfulness.
Talk about heartfulness or heart-opening
Okay,
practices.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have a special techniques in Sri Aurobindo school, or you are using yours, or you are seeking for yours?
Well, it's open to any particular tradition that
Right.
fits for you. But there is one practice that he suggests over and over again, which is centering in the heart, centering your consciousness in the heart. And from there, focusing on a feeling of aspiration or love, devotion, surrender to the divine, but particularly aspiration. This aspiration for the divine, this aspiration for the true consciousness, this aspiration for all things divine. And that this aspiration comes from the soul. And as we follow that aspiration in, it opens the gates of the heart and opens us to this deeper soul.
You are doing it regularly,
I do that practice regularly, yes.
many times,
Many times. Yeah.
and you are not enlightened yet.
I'm not enlightened yet, no.
It's not effective. It's psychedelic more effective. And just one tablet and you will enlighten.
Experiences are different than realization. But again, here the practice is not designed for enlightenment. It's designed to awaken the soul and then bring it forward. And my own sense is that is a multi-lifetime practice. That it's for most people. Some people it comes forward immediately, but I think for most people it's a slow, gradual coming forward that may happen over lifetimes.
How forward is your soul?
Depends on when you ask me.
Now.
Sometimes, right now, it's pretty far back.
Pretty far. Can you measure mine?
Well, you no doubt have a psychic influence, otherwise you wouldn't be into this stuff. For Aurobindo, the soul is what turns us on to the spiritual path. It's what opens us to the spiritual path. It's kind of the hidden lever that sort of shifts things in us. And most people in the world, their soul is so far back, it's like they're just lost in outwardness. But when the soul becomes stronger, it opens us to the inner world. So clearly you have some degree of development, otherwise you wouldn't be into this.
And could you compare us?
I have no idea. It's hard to get inside you. I have no idea what your experience is.
Pity, you are a psychotherapist with so huge experience. You should just have a look.
That would be nice. When my third eye fully opens, maybe I'll be able to just immediately tell what another person's experience is. My third eye is very closed.